The final meeting, the Galactic Council. Chamber was silent. It had never been this quiet before. Thousands of alien leaders sat in long rows, their heads turned toward the center floor. The tall glass window behind them showed stars shining in the dark. Ships moved slowly in orbit. Huge, powerful, and cold. In the center stood Ambassador Leon Gray, the last human in the room. He wasn't tall. He didn't wear armor or a crown. Just a black suit with the Earth emblem on his chest. A blue circle with one green world in the middle. But right now, all eyes were on him. Leon stood still, calm, but his voice, it shook the air. Earth will leave the council, he said. Gasps echoed across the chamber. Some aliens looked confused. Some laughed quietly. A few looked afraid. But no one spoke. Leon took a breath and continued. We came here in peace. We helped build this council. We offered friendship, trade, science, protection. And in return, he looked around slowly. We were betrayed. He tapped a small button on his wrist. A hologram appeared above him, images floating in the air. A human colony burning, children crying in bunkers. Trade ships raided by council allies. A peace treaty torn apart with alien claws. We warned you, Leon said. We asked for fairness, for justice. He stepped forward, and you gave us silence. One alien, tall and covered in silver scales, stood up. Ambassador Gray, Earth must understand. There were political delays. Leon raised one hand. The alien stopped speaking. No more speeches, no more excuses. He looked at the council chair. A wide-eyed, multi-limbed creature who hadn't said a word since the meeting began. We gave you every chance, Leon said. And every time you chose yourselves. Silence again. Then another alien stood up, voice soft. But you can't just leave. The council, Leon interrupted. We're not asking. He pressed another button. On the chamber's large display. Screen. Earth's communication relay went dark. Every line to Earth was closed. No messages in. No messages out. Then every trade gate turned red. Earth's routes were offline. You will not hear from us again. Leon said. He turned his back to the council. The doors opened behind him with a soft hiss. A single human ship waited in the docking ring. Sleek, silver, and quiet. Leon paused. At the doorway. Then said just one more sentence. You will miss us, more than you know. Then he left, back in the chamber. No one moved. Not even the proud warriors of the Varnak Empire. Not the clever merchants of the Fari. Not the wise elders of the Yulin. They all sat still, watching the empty floor. For the first time in centuries, Earth was gone. Far above the council station. Leon's ship detached from the ring and moved slowly into space. His pilot, a woman named Aria, looked at him from the console. Did they say anything? She asked. Leon shook his head. They were too proud. Aria nodded. And now? Now, Leon said quietly, they'll learn what silence feels like. Across the galaxy, worlds lit up with the news. Earth leaves Galactic Council. Some celebrated, some were angry, but most didn't understand. Not yet. In a quiet council lounge, an old alien diplomat sipped a dark drink. His assistant rushed. Sir, did you hear? Earth has. The old alien raised one hand. I heard. Do you think they'll come back? The elder looked out the window. At the stars and whispered, only if we beg. And even then, it might be too late. A history of warnings long before Ambassador Leon Gray walked out of the Galactic Council. Earth had already sent warnings. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Each time, the galaxy ignored them. The first warning came 5 years ago. A small human colony called New Leora was attacked by pirates. They weren't just criminals. They were backed secretly by a council race. The Zarnath Syndicate. The pirates landed in the night, destroyed farms, and took hundreds of people, children, elders, scientists, the humans, begged for help. They sent a signal to the council. We are under attack. Please assist. We are a council world. The council replied 3 days later, we are investigating. By the time any ship arrived, New Leora was gone. Nothing left but smoke and bones. Earth asked for justice. The council said it was a local matter. Leon Gray stood in the chamber that day and gave a short speech. We will remember this. If one more human world falls, we may not wait for your permission. Most in the chamber rolled their eyes. The second warning came when Earth asked for equal trade rights. Human tech had helped the council grow stronger ships, medical tools, energy systems. But when Earth asked for open trade, like other core worlds, the council said no. They gave excuses. You are still young. Other races need priority. Be patient. Meanwhile, council merchants grew rich selling human designs behind closed doors. Leon Gray called them out during a public meeting. He showed proof of stolen patents, smuggled human tech, and rigged trade systems. His final words that day were clear. You take from us. You lie to us. We ask only for fairness. But if you keep pushing Earth into silence, that silence may one day become your punishment. Still, no one listened. The third and final warning came just 2 months ago. A human diplomatic ship, the Venture Star, was traveling through neutral space. It carried scientists and peacekeepers, heading toward a medical summit on Varnock Prime. It never arrived. Council records claimed it was destroyed by a navigation error. Earth's investigation found something else. The ship had been intentionally targeted by a war drone left active by a council member race. Leon Gray stood before the chamber again. His voice wasn't angry. It was cold. This ship carried no weapons. It broke no laws. You say it was a mistake. But again, no one takes responsibility. We warned you after New Leora. You ignored us again during the trade theft. And now, our people lie in space because of your silence. He stepped forward. This is your final chance. Protect us, or we will protect ourselves alone. The chamber said nothing. Not one world stood with Earth. Back in Earth Command, General Elise Morrow watched the stars from her window. She had served in 3 border wars, fought side by side with alien forces. She believed in the council once. Now? She shook her head. Her assistant approached. Ma'am, should we start the withdrawal plan? She didn't answer right away. Then she quietly said, yes, close every gate, pull back every ship. We gave them time, too much time. On Mars, Colony Theta, a young technician named Theo watched the news. Earth leaves the council. He leaned back in his chair. They really did it. His co-worker Juno looked up. Good, we begged them to listen. Theo didn't smile. He just said, now they'll feel the quiet. In the council chamber, a historian from the Alnary race opened a new archive file. He began to type. Title, Human Warnings Summary. Ignored. Result, unknown. Risk level, high. Council response, regretful silence. He paused, then added one more word. Too late. Meanwhile, Ambassador Leon Gray stood aboard his ship, looking out the window. The stars looked the same, but everything had changed. Arya, the pilot, stepped beside him. You okay? Leon nodded. Just thinking. About what? He answered slowly. How loud a goodbye can feel when it's made of silence. And far away, in the quiet rooms of planets that once laughed at Earth, fear had begun to settle. Because they didn't just lose a member. They lost the ones who always warned first. but never worn twice. The goodbye no one expected. Council chamber was empty now. No speeches, no lights, only silence. The same silence that now stretched. Across the stars. Earth was gone. 3 days had passed since Ambassador Leon Gray left the chamber. The chair he once stood at cleaned, polished, and left untouched remained vacant. The Earth seal was removed from the floor. No one replaced it. No one knew how. Across the galaxy, systems tried to reach Earth. Messages were sent. Signals bounced. Nothing returned. Soft red notice now appeared whenever someone tried to contact Earth. Transmission failed. Line disconnected. It wasn't a glitch. It was a message. Earth didn't just leave. They closed the door. On Velkar Station, a merchant named Frizz tried to make a routine trade call to the human colonies. He had done business with Earth for years, bought human crops, rare metals, even simple tools. This time, nothing. He checked the code. Then he checked again. Still nothing. He sighed and whispered, "They're really gone." His assistant frowned. "They'll come back, right?" Frizz shook his head. "Not this time." In the central archives of the Council, a historian named Velen tried to access human research files. Dozens of files vanished overnight. Earth's knowledge on faster healing tech, energy shielding, star mapping, it was all gone. Wiped from the shared grid. Velen stared at the black screen. He had studied Earth's history for 20 years. He admired their growth, their speed, their clever ways of solving problems. Now, all of it was out of reach. On a small moon colony, an alien schoolteacher tried to show her students a video from Earth. Peaceful speech about unity from a human diplomat. The video would not load. A child raised her hand. "Teacher, why is it gone?" The teacher looked at the screen and replied, "Because the humans left." The children looked confused. One asked, "Will they come back?" The teacher didn't answer, because she didn't know. Above the Council's core station, a quiet observation deck looked over space. Ambassador Leon Gray's ship had passed this way when he left. Now only the stars remained. An old council guard stood watch. He had been stationed there for decades. He whispered softly to himself. No parade, no music, just a man walking out the door. He blinked hard, and the galaxy didn't even say goodbye. In Earth Command, far away and hidden now under layers of silence, General Elise Morrow sat before a screen that showed no outside connections. No council updates. No ally reports. Just Earth systems. Only Earth. She turned to her crew. "All secure?" "Yes, ma'am." All lines closed. Firewalls holding. Satellites turned inward. "Any incoming signals?" "Thousands." "We've ignored them all," she nodded. "Good." Then she spoke 2 words that echoed across every human channel. "Operation Isolation?" "Confirmed." Meanwhile, Ambassador Leon Gray stood alone in the observation room of his ship. He looked at Earth through the window. Blue, green, alive, but alone now. He placed his hand on the glass. Sad, angry, just still. Arya, the pilot, stood behind him. "They're already panicking," she said quietly. "We've heard the chatter. Trade crashing, security cracking, people asking for us." Leon closed his eyes. "I told them," she nodded. "Yes, you did." Leon whispered. "They thought we needed them." Then he turned. "And now they'll learn what needing us really meant." In the Galactic Council emergency session, confusion grew into panic. Trade between sectors slowed. Crime began to rise. Black markets were silent because human goods were gone. Systems that depended on Earth's patrols, now unguarded. Minor wars began to spark again. The order they once took for granted was gone. In the chamber, The council leader stood. He looked out at the remaining seats and said something no one had expected to hear. We made a mistake, but Earth wasn't listening anymore. They didn't walk away in anger. They didn't threaten war. They just vanished, and that quiet exit was more powerful than any weapon. Now the stars looked a little dimmer. The galaxy felt colder, because the one voice that always called for peace, for patience, for balance, was silent, and the galaxy, at last, began. To understand, the humans were never loud, but they mattered more than anyone knew. The first crack, first sign of trouble didn't come with fire. It came with silence. A trade ship on the outer rim was attacked by pirates. The ship sent out a distress call. No one came. For years, Earth had protected that route. Human patrols flew there every week, guarding weak systems, stopping smuggling rings, chasing off raiders. But now, that space was empty. The pirates looted everything. They left the crew floating in escape pods, praying someone would still care. On Velos 9, a small farming colony, the food shipment never arrived. It was a minor route easy to forget, but not for the people who lived there. They waited. And waited. And the children got sick. The colony governor sent a message to the council. We relied on Earth's ships. We need help. Where is the replacement? The reply came 4 days later. We are reviewing support plans. Please remain calm. But calm did not feed the hungry in the council chambers. More messages came in. Crime up 300% in the outer colonies. Illegal AI tech flooding marketplaces. Lost contact with 3 outposts near the Zarn Belt. A council aide whispered to her superior, "This is just the beginning, isn't it?" The older ambassador nodded slowly. "Yes, this is the first crack." In the trade halls of the Thari Combine, a merchant named Yevon stood staring at empty crates. No Terran steel. No earth-crafted tech. No low-gravity tools. Nothing that kept his factory running. He slammed his hand on the table. How did we let them go? No one answered, because everyone had thought the same thing. Earth needs the galaxy, not the other way around. Now they knew better. In the streets of the Yulan capital, riots began. The younger generation had grown up with Earth's influence music, stories, tech, even fashion. Now, their entertainment networks had gone dark, stopped working. Streams froze. Online education, trade portals, health AI, they were all powered by Earth-built systems. And now they were gone. A student threw a stone at a government building and screamed, "We should have protected them." Back on Earth, no one celebrated. The skies were calm. Cities ran quietly. Satellites formed a wall around the planet's silent guardians. Inside Earth Command, General Elise Morrow looked over a map showing spreading chaos across council space. Aria. The communications officer walked in. "More requests to reopen contact," she said. "How many this time?" "Over 2,000. Same message?" Aria nodded. "Yes, they're begging." Morrow turned to the screen. No reply. In a private underground room, Leon Gray sat by himself. He watched old videos of the council, laughing, mocking. Earth, ignoring every warning. Now the laughs were gone. Only static remained. Aria entered quietly. "They're cracking." "Leon, No. Do we go back?" He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "Not yet." On a council world called Dravix, the leader made a speech in front of a large crowd. He tried to calm them. He said the council was strong. He said Earth would come back. But in the middle of his speech, the power cut out. The lights shut off. The speakers buzzed and died. The people screamed, because for the first time, no human engineer was there to fix it. In the Galactic Council security meeting, panic took hold. "We're stretched too thin." Who is watching the outer borders? What do we do if the Skorax raiders return? One quiet voice whispered, the humans used to handle that. The room fell silent, because the truth could no longer be hidden. Earth didn't just walk away. Took order with them, Dot, and now the cracks were spreading, Dot, in the quiet shadows between systems. Something else stirred, Dot, old threats, sleeping dangers, races that had feared, human presence, Dot, now moving again. Because Earth, the shield, was gone, and the galaxy was no longer safe. Galaxy without Earth, the galaxy kept spinning, but everything else began to fall, Dot, without Earth. The cracks turned into breaks, Dot, and the breaks turned into chaos, Dot. The Council trade grid failed in 3 sectors. Earth systems had powered it quietly for years. Their engineers kept it running, updating code, balancing energy routes, protecting it from pirates, Dot. Now it flickered, Dot, collapsed, Dot, in Sector 17B. Hundreds of ships were stranded, Dot, cargo spoiled, credits lost. One merchant sent a desperate message. Please, someone contact Earth. We need them. But no signal came back. Earth wasn't listening. On Kaleri Station, a peaceful science base, was overrun by raiders. They came fast, using smuggled tech once blocked by human patrols. The Kaleri security team called for help. The Council responded. 4 days later, Dot, by then, the station was gone, and in its place was a pirate flag. The Avian Republic, once proud and stable, began to fracture. Their people blamed the Council. Why did you let Earth go? They shouted. They kept things safe. Now nothing is safe. In 3 major cities, food riots broke out. Energy plants were failing, built on human design. Systems now unsupported. One Avian elder stood before his own council and whispered, we didn't lose Earth. We pushed them out. Now we pay. On a quiet moon colony, a young alien girl named Leah sat alone in a classroom. The teacher's AI didn't start, Dot. The learning screen stayed dark. Her father had told her Earth tech made it all work. Now, Earth was gone. She looked out the window. Will they come back? She whispered, Dot. No one answered, Dot. In the far reaches of wild space, the Skorax horde returned, Dot, once kept in check by Earth's Black Fleet. They now moved freely, destroying outposts, stealing ships, enslaving traders. The Council tried to respond. Earth's patrol routes had been erased. Their codes were locked. The Skorax tore through 5 minor worlds in 2 weeks. One Council general said it clearly. We need Earth. But by then, even Earth's enemies had gone silent. The Threxian Dominion, who once mocked Earth's emotional diplomacy, now found themselves under siege by the very rebels. Earth had once calmed. Their soldiers sent an urgent message to the humans. If you can hear this, we ask for mercy. The signal was recorded, but no one on Earth answered, Dot. Inside the Galactic Council's main hall, voices were louder than ever, but none of them mattered, because one seat was still empty, the one with Earth's emblem, and without it, the chamber felt cold, Dot. In Earth's hidden command base, General Elise Morrow reviewed the latest reports. One officer stepped forward. Ma'am, more worlds are requesting help. How many? Almost a third of the Council. Another officer added, even former enemies are asking for talks. Elise looked at the stars on the screen. Silent, distant. Do we answer? Someone asked. She shook her head. Not yet. Let them remember what they lost. Meanwhile, Ambassador Leon Gray sat in his study. He watched video after video from the Council Chamber's leaders shouting. Systems failing, requests stacking. He sipped a cup of tea. His face didn't show joy, only tired sadness. Arya walked in, holding a new message pad. 23 new please, she said. Leon nodded. Then asked quietly, do you think they finally understand? She looked at him. I think they're finally afraid. Back in the Council Chamber, an emergency session was called. World after world reported collapse. Our food supplies depended on Earth's logistics system. Our hospitals used human medical aid. Our peace zones were guarded by human fleets. Our economy was tied to Earth's trade balance. One council member stood up and shouted, "We thought we could live without them." He looked around at the others. But Earth wasn't just one planet. They were the thread holding, used together. No one disagreed, because the galaxy was unraveling. And Earth? Earth watched quietly, behind locked gates, behind patient eyes. Not in anger, not with threats, just absence. And that absence was louder than any fleet, weapon, or speech the Council had ever known. They finally begged the Galactic Council had never looked like this, not in 1,000 years. All seats were full. No one argued. No. One raised their voice. They were united, but not by strength, by fear. The chamber lights dimmed as a red banner flashed. Above the center table, emergency motion. Request for Earths. Aritu Oranit was the first time Earth's name had appeared on the screen in weeks. Ambassador Ralos of the Yulin race stood slowly. His voice was soft. "We all know why we're here." He didn't need to explain. Everyone had read the reports. Trade collapse. Rogue fleets unchecked. Entire sectors falling into silence. Outer colonies abandoned. Food, tech, medicine all failing without Earth's support. Ralos continued, "We have made many mistakes, but the greatest one was letting Earth go." He looked around. "Now we must do something we've never done before. We must ask to be forgiven." For once, no one laughed, no one objected. The vote was fast, unanimous. All members approve. Reopen diplomatic channels to Earth. A message was drafted immediately. To the people of Earth, we acknowledge our failures. We ignored your pain. We broke promises. We ask, not as rulers, but as neighbors, please return. The galaxy needs you. We were wrong. We are sorry. It was sent across every known frequency. They waited. 1 hour passed. Then 2.12. Still. No answer. No signal. Not even a ping. On Earth, Ambassador Leon Gray sat quietly in a dark room. The message blinked on the screen. Unread. He saw it, but didn't open it. Arya stood beside him. They finally said it. She whispered, "They're begging." Leon said nothing. She waited. Then asked gently, "Will we go back?" He looked at her for a long moment and replied, "Would they have begged if we hadn't walked away?" In Earth Command, General Elise Morrow read the Council's words. She shook her head slowly. "So polite now," she muttered. Where was this voice when our people cried out? The room around her was quiet. Officers waited for her orders. "Do we reply, ma'am?" Someone asked. Elise stared at the screen. "No, not yet." On the Council worlds, panic grew. The response was expected within hours. But days passed. Still nothing. In a desperate move, the Council sent ships unarmed with peaceful signals. They flew to the edge of Earth's star system and stopped at the boundary. Human satellites locked onto them instantly. A message played through their speakers. "This space is closed. You are not welcome." The voice was artificial. Calm. Emoti. ONLESS. No names. No threats. Final. The ships turned around. A council tried again. They sent a group of civilians, people who had once lived on Earth. Artists, teachers, scientists. They spoke from their hearts. "We remember your kindness. We were your friends. Please don't leave us behind." Still, Earth said nothing. Not because of hate, but because sometimes silence is the only way people listen. In the Galactic News Hall, headlines changed. Earth refuses Council's plea. The humans are done talking. What happens when patience breaks? On a small planet called Juno's Eye, an old woman sat on a bench, holding her grandson's hand. He asked, "Why won't the humans come back?" She looked at the stars and said softly, "Because we only loved them when they were leaving." At Earth's poles, research outposts glowed quietly beneath the snow dot inside. New inventions hummed technologies no longer shared. Behind closed doors, ships were being built faster, stronger, smarter. Not for war, not for fear, but for Earth's future. Alone, if needed. Back in the council chamber, the leaders gathered again, more broken than before. One ambassador stood. "I do not know if they will ever return," he said, "but we must remember this forever. We lost Earth not in battle, but in pride." He placed a small blue pin on his chest, Earth's symbol. And bowed his head. In homes, schools, and spaceports across the stars, a new phrase began to spread. Don't wait until they leave. Don't treat the strong like they'll always stay. Don't lose a human. But it was already done. They had begged. They had apologized. Earth had answered. With silence. The day the stars grew quiet, the galaxy never forgot the day Earth left, but it would always remember the day the stars grew quiet. Not from war, not from death, but from absence. The council still met. Laws were passed. Ships flew, but something was missing, something no law could bring back, something no vote could fix. In trade halls, Earth's technology remained, but no new updates came. Systems slowed. Machines glitched. Whole sectors began rewriting human code by hand, hoping to keep it running. But without human minds behind the tech, it was like copying light with a shadow. Always weaker. Always fading. At the edges of known space, criminals returned. Rogue fleets, slave markets, planet raiders. The council sent ships. They tried, but Earth's silent patrols, once feared in the dark corners of the galaxy, were gone, and the darkness remembered. On the learning world of Islara, Prime, a young alien student, stood before her class. The topic was history. She read aloud from a digital page. Earth left the Galactic Council on Cycle 441. Despite multiple requests, they never returned. All messages were ignored. Earth built inward. Their systems were locked, their people unreachable. A classmate raised a hand. Why did they leave? The teacher answered gently, because we heard their cries and answered with silence. On Earth, no one looked back. Cities thrived. Skies were clean. Ships launched quietly from underground hangars. New worlds were mapped, not for glory, but for peace. The humans didn't speak to the stars anymore, because the stars had already spoken. And they had said, "You don't matter until you're missing." In Earth Command, General Elise Morrow watched a quiet screen. No red alerts. No messages. Just Earth's own systems. Self-sustained. One young officer stepped forward. "Ma'am." A new signal from the council. Same as before. She didn't look up. Archive it. They say they're offering full apology this time. Morrow finally looked at the officer. Eyes calm. Voice steady. It's not about apologies anymore. It's about respect. And they only found it once we were gone. Back in the Galactic Council, a memorial was built. It was simple. A tall silver pillar standing where Earth's seat used to be. No statue. No banner. Only a line of words etched deep. They asked for peace. We gave them silence. And when they left, the stars changed forever. Ambassador Leon Gray was never seen again. Some said he returned to Earth's deep core to guide new alliances. Others believed he left the galaxy entirely, searching for untouched stars. What mattered was the legacy he left, not with words, but with walking away. On small worlds, Earth's name became legend. Children were told bedtime stories. There was once a planet that gave everything. They fought to keep peace. They stood between the weak and the cruel. But when no one stood with them, they left. And that silence? That silence shook the stars. In dark corners of the galaxy, old enemies remembered. They had feared Earth. Once, now, they feared something worse. Earth's silence. Because silence from the strong is never weakness, It is a warning. And across systems, a new phrase appeared on gates, signs, and school walls. Never lose a human twice. The day the stars grew quiet was not the day of Earth's death, was the day of its choice. And it chose itself, its people, its peace, and in doing so, it taught the galaxy a lesson. No one would forget. If you betray the ones who always show up, one day they won't. The end.